What if the vast emptiness of the middle of nowhere isn't empty at all, but filled with echoes of the lost, waiting to pull you in? Welcome back to the Vile Echoes, where we uncover disturbing, middle-of-nowhere confessions. 4 chilling accounts shared from those who ventured too far. From vanishing cabins to frozen reflections that stare back. These stories will make you fear the silence. Stick around to the end. The final one has a twist that still freezes its teller to the core. Our first vile echo emerges from the dense woods of the Pacific Northwest, where a routine patrol uncovers a structure that shouldn't exist, pulling the ranger into a vanishing mystery that defies all logic. Dive into the abandoned cabin in the woods, a confession that starts with discovery, but ends in a haunting pursuit through the trees. I've been a park ranger in the Pacific Northwest for about 12 years now, mostly patrolling backcountry trails in the Olympic National Forest. It's the kind of job where you spend days alone, checking for poachers, marking fire hazards, and helping the occasional lost hiker. I'm not the type to get spooked easily. I've dealt with bear encounters, flash floods, and even a meth lab once. But this one thing from summer 2019 still makes me avoid certain sections of the park. I was on a routine survey deep in the Quinault Valley, miles from any road. The area's thick with old-growth firs, moss hanging like curtains, and undergrowth so dense it swallows sound. I'd been hiking for 2 days, camping rough, when I stumbled on the cabin. It wasn't on any maps, no record in the ranger logs either. The structure was old, log walls sagging, roof caved in on one side from years of rain. Vines choked the door, and the windows were shattered, glass long gone. I figured it was a relic from logging days in the 30s. Maybe a trapper's shack forgotten after the park was established. Curiosity got me. I pushed through the door, flashlight cutting the gloom. Inside was frozen in time. Rusted stove, a table with a single chair knocked over, and shelves bare except for dusty jars. But what hit me was the smell. Musty earth mixed with something sharp, like copper. As I poked around, I found scratches on the walls, deep gouges like from claws, forming patterns that looked like words but weren't English. The floorboards creaked underfoot, and when I lifted one loose plank, there was a small box buried in the dirt. Inside were old photos, faded black and whites of a family, but their faces were scratched out, eyes gone like someone had clawed them away. I pocketed one to report later, thinking it was vandalism or something historical. That night I camped a mile away, but sleep didn't come. Around midnight, I heard footsteps circling my tent, slow, deliberate, like someone pacing. I unzipped the flap with my knife ready, but nothing. Just fog rolling in. Next morning, the photo was gone from my pack. I hiked out fast, but on the trail, I kept glimpsing a shape in the trees, tall, hunched, moving parallel. Radioed base about possible squatter, but when a team went back, the cabin was gone. Not burned or collapsed, just vanished, ground smooth like it never existed. They thought I hallucinated from dehydration, but I know what I saw. Sometimes on patrols, I hear that pacing again. Whatever built that cabin, or lived in it, is still out there, waiting for the next wanderer to find its mark. Stay on the trails, folks. The middle of nowhere has secrets that don't like being found. A cabin that vanishes is eerie, but a signal from the void can lead you straight to the forgotten, drawing you deeper into the desert's silent trap. Our next confession rolls from the loneliest highway in Nevada, where the call becomes impossible to ignore. I'm a long-haul trucker. Been driving cross-country routes for 15 years, mostly through the Southwest where the roads stretch forever under big skies. Night shifts are my thing. Less traffic, cooler air. Just me and the radio. I don't believe in ghosts or UFOs. Most weird stuff is fatigue or bad weather. But this incident from spring 2020 on Highway 50 in Nevada, the loneliest road in America, changed that. I was hauling freight from Salt Lake to Reno. Empty desert for hours. No towns, just sagebrush and distant mountains. Around 2 a.m., my CB radio crackled with static. Then a voice came through. Help. Accident. Mile marker 137. Clear as day. A woman's voice, panicked. I checked my position. Right near 137. No other trucks on the channel. No lights ahead. Called it in on the phone. Dispatch said no reports, but I pulled over anyway. Grabbed my flashlight and flare gun. Walked the shoulder. Wind howling. Then I saw it. A faint glow off the road. Like a phone screen in the dirt. Dug it up. It was an old flip phone, screen cracked but lit, showing emergency call, with my truck's headlights reflected. Battery dead when I picked it up. Creepy, but maybe coincidence. As I turned back, my headlights caught something. A rusted sign half buried. Last chance. Turn back. Not a standard highway marker. I noped out, drove on. But the CB kept crackling. You saw. Now follow. Voice now male. Deeper. Ignored it, but my GPS glitched, rerouting to a dirt track. Followed for a bit. Stupid, I know. And ended up at an old ghost town. Buildings sagging. Wind whistling through. In the center was a wrecked car. Vintage 70s. Doors open. Inside, skeletons. Human. Posed like they were driving. Phone in the dash rang. I answered. Static then. Thanks for coming. Engine died. Spent the night barricaded in my cab. Flares lit. Morning. Towed out. Mechanics found nothing wrong. Later learned the town was abandoned after a mass disappearance in '75, linked to a serial killer who lured drivers with fake distress calls. The phone matched one from a victim. I avoid that stretch now. The middle of nowhere calls, but answering means you don't come back. A highway that lures the living is frightening, but an echo from the peaks can turn the mountains into a trap, resonating with voices that mimic the lost and pull you toward an inescapable fate. Our third confession climbs from the Colorado Rockies, where the mountains hold secrets that answer back with deadly intent. I've been a search and rescue volunteer in the Rockies for 8 years, based out of Colorado. It's rewarding, but tough. Hiking into remote areas to find lost folks, dealing with avalanches, wildlife, the works. I'm practical. No room for superstition when lives are on the line. But this call from fall 2022 in the San Juan Mountains still messes with me. We got a report of a missing hiker, a solo guy in his 30s who'd gone off trail near an old mining area. Team of 4, we set out at dawn, gear loaded for a multi-day search. The terrain is brutal. Steep ravines, dense pines, abandoned shafts from the gold rush days. First day, standard, calling his name. John, echoes bouncing back. But as dusk fell, the echoes changed. We'd yell, "John," and it'd come back. "John, help." Faint, like from deep in a canyon. We followed, thinking it was him. Led us to an overgrown mine entrance, boards rotted. Inside, flashlight beams showed rails and carts rusted solid. Deeper in, we found fresh footprints, bare feet, small like a child's, circling a collapsed shaft. That night, camped nearby, the echoes didn't stop. "John, join us." Now multiple voices, overlapping. One team member freaked, said it sounded like his dead brother's voice. We radioed for backup. Morning, we explored the shaft, roped down, found bones at the bottom, old mining gear, but also modern stuff. A backpack matching the hikers, empty except for a journal. Entries rambled about, echoes that answer back, calling names of the lost. Last page. They're not echoes. They're invitations. As we climbed out, the ground shook. Minor tremor, but the entrance caved. We barely escaped. Hiker never found. Later, locals said the mine collapsed in 1890, trapping workers who called for help in legends. Rescuers heard echoes that led them astray. I quit SAR after. The middle of nowhere isn't empty. It remembers the dead, and sometimes they call back, luring you to join the chorus. Echoes that trap are bad enough, but a frozen gaze from below can freeze your soul forever, reflecting horrors that stare back with eyes not of this world. Our final confession chills from the Alaskan tundra, where the ice preserves more than just the dead. As a wildlife biologist in Alaska, I spend months in the Arctic tundra studying caribou migrations. It's isolating. Weeks without seeing another soul, just snow, wind, and endless white. I'm scientific to the core, data over drama. But this expedition in winter 2021 near the Noatak River still gives me pause. I was solo, skiing into a frozen valley to set camera traps. The area is pristine. No human traces for miles, just ice and aurora at night. On day 3, I reached a small lake, frozen solid, surface like glass. Set up camp on the shore. That evening, as the sun dipped, I noticed something under the ice. A dark shape, humanoid, frozen in place. Thought it was a log or animal carcass. Skated out for a closer look. It was a body, preserved, face up, eyes open wide under the clear ice, staring back. Clothes old-fashioned, like from the gold rush era. I marked the GPS, planned to report it. Night fell, aurora dancing green. I heard cracking ice, then a voice from the lake. Cold, so cold, muffled, like from underwater. Zipped my tent tight, blamed wind. Morning, the body was gone. No hole, no tracks, ice smooth. But my reflection in the water looked wrong. Eyes not mine, mouth moving when I wasn't speaking. I packed fast, skied out. On the way, my radio picked up static whispers, names of lost explorers from history books. Reached base camp exhausted. Team searched, no body. But old records showed a prospector drowned there in 1910. Body never recovered. Locals say the lake reflects the lost, trapping souls to call others in. I avoid frozen water now. The middle of nowhere freezes more than bodies. It preserves the desperate, and their reflections pull you under. And with that, our middle of nowhere confessions dissolve into the void, leaving echoes of isolation and the unseen that might just make you hug the city lights a little tighter. If these tales left you glancing over your shoulder, hit that like button. Share your own remote horrors in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Vile Echoes for more heart-pounding explorations. Your next desolate dread is just a click away. Stay connected, or risk the silence. Sweet dreams.